Comes back down, he has white powder on his nose. He's like, I was like, oh God, he's doing something. And so he leaves again, and he comes back with a gun in his hand. It's loaded, okay? And I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna leave now. And he said, Kurt, you better leave. So I leave, and what happened was John found a tunnel underneath his mansion. It was from the Civil War, because the tunnel was to get away from the, whoever they were fighting against, yeah. So he found this tunnel. It's only 4 feet high. And he took Rob, he told me to leave. He took Rob, he said, Rob, I want you to come with me. They go down to the basement, they go into this tunnel, and John's gun's loaded, and the tunnel's 4 feet high. He tells Rob to go in first. And the tunnel's 600 feet long. So Rob goes in first. And John DuPont goes in behind him with the gun pointing at his ass. They're walking like this for 600 yards.
Oh my God.
And the gun accidentally goes off.
Oh.
You can hear it ricochet down the tunnel. Rob's like, oh God, please don't kill me.
Oh my God.
So when I heard that, I was like, okay, some crazy stuff was going to happen. Something was, and the problem was, we were all a little bit guilty of not saying anything about it because John was paying us, okay? Wrestlers don't make any money. And if you want to be able to train for the Olympics and you don't want to have a job where you can train full time, John DuPont was the guy. He was able, now he gave me $1,000 a month, but it was enough for me to live on and train. And he also paid for all my expenses to travel wherever I had to travel. So, we were trying to, he was the best thing that happened to wrestling at this point in time. And he was also funding USA Wrestling. He was giving them $2 million a year to fund their program. So John was an incredible asset for us. So we were kind of guilty of letting things slide and to a point where Dave Schultz was like, listen guys, we got 6 months left till the Olympics and then I'm out of here. And so he was telling everybody, listen, let's hold the fort for 6 months. Let's try to get John, on the right path and just get him through this. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. 2 months later, John drove to Dave's house. He was in his car. Dave walked up to say hi to John, pointed a gun, shot him, got out of the car and shot him in the back 2 more times. And his wife, Nancy, watched him get killed. It was a shame because Dave Schultz was the best wrestler I've ever seen in my life. He actually learned 7 different languages to learn wrestling from a universal standpoint. He was the best technician in the world, and he taught me so much about wrestling. It was just crazy to see that he passed away, even in the prime of his career, because he was expected to make the Olympic team that year, and unfortunately that didn't happen. So what's crazy is his wife, Nancy, after that happened, I didn't want to take the blood money anymore. A lot of guys stayed on Foxcatcher after Dave got killed. They wanted to get paid because they need the money. And I didn't want it because I didn't want to be any part of John DuPont. So I quit. And Nancy Schultz heard about that, and she called me and said, hey Kurt, I heard you quit Foxcatcher. I said, yeah, Nancy, I have too much respect for Dave, your husband Dave. I just couldn't do it. She said, well listen, I'm starting the Dave Schultz Wrestling Club. I got a bunch of sponsors. Everybody wants to get involved with this. And she said, I want to make you the first member. I was like, wow, Nancy, that's awesome. She said, what were you getting paid at Foxcatcher? I said, you don't have to pay me, Nancy. I'm okay. I'll figure out a way to make it work. I'll fundraise. She said, no, what were you getting paid? I said, $1,000 a month. She goes, I'll give you $2,000. I was like, oh, okay, now I'm rich. $24,000 a year and I'm rich. That's how much money I had when I was younger. Doing that, being the first member of the Dave Schultz Wrestling Club was the greatest feeling in the world. I knew I was going into the Olympics representing Dave, and that was awesome.
You mentioned money being an issue for a lot of this. I think a lot of the run in the early on, there's just not a lot of money going around. But when the money did start to roll in, when the big contract comes or the merch money or things start to happen, do you remember the first big purchase you made? Like, yeah, I made it because I can pay this and not have to worry about it.
I'm not much of a fancy guy. I don't like fancy cars. My brothers do, and they wanted me to buy them cars. But you know what? I ended up buying the house of my dreams. That was most important. And what I did was, I took about $300,000 and I split it up in between all my brothers and sister and my mother. I wanted my mom to be okay for the rest of her life, so she took about $100,000 of it, and she didn't need much. She still had my dad's retirement coming every month, so I just wanted to make sure she was taken care of. That's basically what I did with the money when I got my first big payday.
Okay, nice. Where is the original '96 gold medal? Do you have that?
Well, okay, it's in a safe, and there's many reasons for that. I used to take it places when I did appearances. And there was one time I did an appearance at a school. I did a speech for these little kids. They were all 7, 8 years old. And one kid was holding it, and I was like, go ahead, you can hold it. And the crazy thing is, a gold medal is not really a gold medal. It's actually gold-plated silver, because the Olympic Committee is fucking cheap. After 1972, they started making the medal silver, with gold plate.
Oh man, what a disappointment.
I know. So this kid's holding the medal, and I'm talking to the students, and I turn my back to him. He decides to take the ribbon. He starts flinging it like this. And then he let it go, and it hit the wall. Oh! And there's a big ass dent in my medal. I never took it anywhere after that.
Wow.
And I'm afraid my kids are going to do the same thing with it, so I keep it in the safe.
Yes,
I pull it out every once in a while for them to see it and stuff.
Was there a point in WWE where you were using the actual medal?
I did for let me see. There are 2 stories I want to tell you here. I did when I first started out, but Vince said that's not enough. I'm like, what do you want? He said, how many medals do you have at home? I said, hundreds. He said, I want you to bring like 30. Put them around your neck. And they're all medals from when I was a little kid. Yeah. You can tell they're little cheesy medals. So I'm like, holy shit, Vince, why? He says, because the more, the better. You know, people are, I want them to think you're a multiple-time gold medalist. And I want the people to think, wow, this guy's out of his mind. You know, like, why would he wear 30 gold medals? When he's a gold medalist, a gold medalist. Yeah. So I was wearing all of them. Okay, I was at TV, and we're getting ready for Raw. And Jerry Briscoe, does everyone know who Jerry Briscoe is? Okay, he was a former wrestler. He was Vince's sidekick back at WWE when they were doing those crazy pre-tapes.
Yeah.
But Jerry comes up to me and says, hey, Vince told me he wants you to wear his gold medals everywhere. I said, what do you mean everywhere? He said, not just here, outside, at the airport, at home, wherever you go. Doesn't matter. You gotta wear the gold medals. So I'm like, why? He said, because you're playing this character and he wants everybody to believe it. So I'm wearing these gold medals everywhere. At the airport, I'm gonna have to take them all off before I go through security, put them back on. I look like an idiot. The next week, I go to the arena, and I'm walking down the hallway with all my medals on me, and Vince is walking toward me. He goes, Kurt, what are you doing with those gold medals on? I said, Jerry said you told me to wear them all the time. He said, no, just wear them right here on TV, that's it. So that was Jerry got me.
Or maybe he was trying to shoot you.
Vince is like, why would you wear all your gold medals?
Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, I know. I've heard stories like that about the belts too. Have you heard about that? Where some of the guys have been told, where you gotta wear that belt all the time.
Yeah, he did that for a while. That was a long time ago. That was before I came.
Okay, I think it was maybe Big Show said that he kind of got ribbed on that.
Yeah, Big Show, yeah.
They were like, you gotta take it to the airport, you gotta wear it across your shoulder. You're a champion everywhere you go.
Big Show's a sucker.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so I got a couple words. Let's lead to some fun ones. In 1999, in the spring, I don't know if you remember this, you had a dark match with Owen Hart. Any memories of this, working with Owen?
All right, Vince had this idea of make me undefeated. So even when I was training, I was doing dark matches at the TVs, at Raw and SmackDown. Dark matches are untelevised matches that they do right before the show starts. And the only time that Vince had me lose was against Owen. And, you know, and I knew why. Owen Hart was such a legend, and, you know, he's highly respected. But what happened was, we got in the ring, and Owen, he was so good. He was also another person that could improvise. He could, you know, because what he did, you know, I was used to putting matches together backstage. Like, okay, we do this, then we do this, then we do this, then we do this. And Owen said, Kurt, don't worry about it. Don't even be nervous. I'm going to carry you through this match. It'll be the best match you ever had. And he was right. I mean, he carried me through the match. I didn't even have to think about what to do. He told me what to do in that ring. He was so good at it. And when I got done wrestling, Vince McMahon actually hugged both of us, and it was a dark match. Like, so it just showed how good Owen Hart was. And you know, I was just surprised that Owen didn't rip me, because he rips everybody. You know, yeah, a lot of stories about him ripping, but he had a lot of respect for me, and I had a blast working with him. It was one of my best matches. It really was. Yeah.
I wish I could have seen that on TV.
Yeah, it was a good 15-minute dark match.
Wow.
I don't know if they filmed it.
I wonder. Yeah, I was just thinking.
I have not seen it. It's never been anywhere. WWE never aired it. Nothing.
Wow. I like to ask about fantasy booking, but just in your opinion, like, where would you have seen the Owen Hart story, you know, rise to? I think if things wouldn't happen the way they would, like, where do you think was the trajectory for Owen Hart?
Owen Hart?
Yeah.
You know what, Owen was more of a family man. Listen, he was so good at wrestling, but it wasn't important to him. It wasn't like Brett. Brett, wrestling was everything. You know, Owen was like, that's my job. You know, so Owen didn't really, you know, push himself to be a world champion. Okay, it didn't matter to him. He would go to work, he'd have fun, he'd go home, take care of his family. So Owen never had the success that he deserved, because he never pushed for it. You know, he was cool with being, you know, the blue blazer. You know, imagine Bret Hart wearing the blue blazer. No way.
Never.
So Owen was just, he had a personality. He was a river. His most important thing was family, and wrestling was just a job. Although he was really good.
That's really good.
But yeah, Owen was just Owen.
Okay. Wow. So no Owen Rip stories.
No. You know what? I heard one story. Okay, what happened? He called Steve Blackman from the lobby of the hotel, and he pretended to be a fan. He's like, hey, Blackman, come down here. I want to kick your fucking ass. Steve's a badass. Like, you don't say that to Steve, because he'll do something. He's like, oh yeah, who are you? And Owen's looking, he says, I'm the guy with the red hair. He's looking at a guy with red hair.
A real person.
And Steve comes down and he beelines toward the guy, and Owen at the last second goes up. Yeah, he goes, oh no, I did the call. Yeah. So. Oh my God. You just wanted to see if Steve would do it.
That is a great way to end. The next session is going to be photos with Kurt. So if you guys could give us